Welcome back, my friend. I am glad you are here. The night air is cool and the world is still, as Jazz continues his watch on the rooftop, scanning the heavens for shooting stars. Seeing him look up has unlocked a specific file in my memory banks. It is a memory of a journey, not across the stars, but across the earth. I want to take you back to a night in Idaho, to a long, straight highway that runs through a valley so flat it feels like the floor of the world. A place where the Teton mountains slice through the moonlight. It was there that I found something unexpected. A giant screen rising against the stars, and a gathering of humans huddled in their cars, sharing a dream in the dark. So, settle in, let the hum of the road soothe you. We are going to the drive-in, and let me tell you what I saw. Thinking of meteors reminds me of the time I was leading the Autobots on a mission that brought us across the state of Idaho. We were driving south on Highway 33, which runs through a wide valley between the Teton Mountains. The valley floor is very flat, and I could see for miles in every direction. Even though night had fallen, the moon was high in the sky, and it illuminated the ground and other objects below. Looking ahead, I saw something at the side of the highway. Something unusual. Well, unusual in my experience, because I had never seen anything quite like it before. It was a tall structure, an enormous, dark, rectangular shape that stood high against the night sky, blocking my view of stars that were low on the horizon. As I drove closer to the location, I saw that the structure appeared to be made of wood and metal girders. The structure rested beside the highway like a gigantic but very dark billboard, and it was tilted slightly. Its upper area leaned toward a field that lay just beyond the structure. In other words, the way the structure was positioned, it separated the field from the highway. I was still traveling south on the highway, getting even closer to the structure and the field, when I noticed something in the distance. It was a small building. A bright beam of light projected from one of the building's windows, and the light appeared to be directed at the surface of the tall structure, the surface that faced away from the highway. The beam made the rectangular shape look like it was glowing, radiating light from its edges. And then I noticed a few dozen vehicles parked in the field. Mostly cars, but also pickup trucks, vans, even a few motorcycles. I thought it was strange that none of the vehicles had their headlights on. I could also see small figures, people, in and around the cars. Some were inside their vehicles or in the backs of the trucks. Others were beside their vehicles, lying on blankets or sitting on folding chairs. I wondered if perhaps they were experiencing problems with their vehicles. I did not know, so I decided to find out if they were in need of help. I instructed my team to pull over to the side of the highway. There was very little traffic at the time, so no one paid attention to us as we came to a stop beside a stretch of green grass at the highway's edge. From where we'd parked, I could clearly see a vehicle I hadn't seen before, parked in front of the rectangular structure. The vehicle was an old farm truck, a flatbed truck with a cab that may have once been bright red, but the paint appeared to have faded over time. No one was seated in the truck's cab, and the truck did not appear to be in working order. And then I noticed large letters painted black on the side of the truck. The letters spelled the words "Drive-In Theater." It was at that moment that my allies and I realized the purpose of the location, that we had arrived at an outdoor movie theater, a place where people watched movies from their vehicles. We guessed that an old farm truck was probably a landmark, something to help travelers find the theater, which seemed odd to us because the movie screen itself was a landmark, the way it rose so high that drivers could see it from far away. No driver could possibly miss it. Although my allies and I still had many miles to travel, we could not help but be curious about the movie. Bumblebee managed to find a nearby dirt road. The road led us around to the side of the field where the audience had parked their cars. We parked on the dirt road and had a good view of the tall, wide movie screen. On the screen, we saw images of a green car following a black car down a steep street at a time of day when the sun was shining in the sky. Sidewalks and tall houses on either side of the street indicated the cars were traveling through a city neighborhood. Several seconds passed, and we saw one man inside the green car, two men inside the black car. A few seconds later, we were able to see more buildings in the background. Jazz scanned the images of the buildings and determined that the city was San Francisco. We assumed that we had missed the beginning of the movie, and we could only imagine what the story was about. But the green car and black car appeared to be constructed of strong materials. Shifting my gaze from the images of the cars and city, I turned my attention to the audience, to the people sitting in and around their vehicles in the field below the movie screen. A family with 3 children were seated in the back of a truck. The children had blankets draped across their legs and around their shoulders. even though it was not very cold outside. I think the blankets just made the children more comfortable in the truck. The children looked so cozy, and their eyelids looked so heavy, just like yours. It would not surprise me to learn that they were unable to stay awake for the whole movie. They really did look as if they were about to fall asleep, tucked in their blankets, under the stars of the night sky. Because my allies and I were on a mission at the time, we could not stay to watch the rest of the movie. As we started to leave the drive-in, I glanced back at the children in the truck, and I noticed one child looking up and pointing to the sky. I looked up too, just in time to see what had caught the child's attention. High above the movie screen, a bright meteor streaked overhead. Seeing that meteor, I wondered if anyone on Earth happened to be looking up at the sky at the moment when my starship, carrying me and my fellow Autobots, left a trail of light as we entered Earth's atmosphere. I have learned that many humans believe that a shooting star is a sign of good luck, and that they make a wish when they see one. If anyone did see my arrival, perhaps they made a wish. And if anyone made a wish, well, I hope it was a good one. Long after that night in Idaho, my thoughts have returned to the drive-in, to the old farm truck parked outside, a short distance from the towering movie screen, resting at the edge of the highway. The drive-in was a very good place for seeing movies, and also for stargazing, and for seeing meteors. It looked like a very nice place to relax for the night. Someday, I would like to go back to that drive-in. Perhaps we can even make that journey together. Meanwhile, my allies and I feel very lucky that our long journey across space brought us to this world, to this very moment, so we could meet you. Now, let's get some rest. Good night, my friend.